Hello, welcome to day number 1. Today is all about bringing awareness to the spine and noticing how it communicates. So the small movement is going to be very detailed and it's going to be very intentional. So that is our word of the day, intentional. So this is intentional movement, very specific and detailed and focused. So don't plan on doing these large, huge movements. Today is all about small, specific movement to really wake up all those little muscles that are attached to your bones. So you ready to get started? Let's do this. So I want you to lie down on your mat and just allow the weight of your bones to get heavy in the mat. As you do that, you might feel a little stress or strain somewhere in your body, low back, upper back, wherever that is. It's sort of the area we need to give a little TLC to. And that's what this whole routine is today. It's all TLC, all right? Really feel good movement to wake up all of those dormant muscles. So let's try to get into a neutral spine, which means the natural curves of your spine where your low back has a little arch to it. Your neck has a little arch to it. So those are the two areas that sort of are off the mat. And then the rest of your spine should be on the mat. Tailbone, ribs, shoulder blades. Let's breathe here. So you're going to inhale in through the nose and then exhale out through the mouth. So if you notice, my exhale is sort of noisy. It's through pursed lips, and what that does is it allows me to contract my muscles more, but it also allows my breath to be more consistent and stronger and longer. Okay, so inhale through the nose. Exhale, sort of count to maybe 10. Inhale. Exhale. Good, let's place our hands on our hip bones and then our fingertips on our pubic bone. And let's try to get that sort of triangle that you made nice and flat, okay? And your feet are flat, about hip distant apart, okay? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna roll our pelvis towards us, and notice what happens with your hands, right? Your pubic bone lifts, so your pubic bone is the highest point. Your back may be lengthened in the mat, should feel good. And then we're going to go the other way where the pubic bone gets heavy and the hip bones lift, okay? So let's just create that movement now, little pelvic tilts as we go towards us and away from us. Inhale, exhale. Now notice what the rest of the spine is doing, okay? Especially sort of the upper vertebrae around the neck and the head. They're going to slide along with you because the spine is one unit. It works together. So when you're sitting all day, you're sort of pressing into that low back, and then that upper back is probably hunched over. You're losing all of that communication and all of that movement. And so you can feel stuck. So we want to create energy and flow and movement here. Okay? They're not used to talking to each other, so let's bring that communication back. Relax your jaw and come to center. Okay, we hold a lot of tension there, so let it go. Now we're going to tilt side to side. So one hip gets heavy, one hip sort of lifts. Try not to let the legs sort of do it. Really just make it part of the pelvis, so it's not a big movement at all. And keep breathing. And notice what the upper spine wants to do. If you start to lift it up more, you're going to start to see how your head wants to go the opposite way. It's because our spine naturally wants to rotate. So rotation is good for our spine. But we need to wake up these little muscles so that we do everything efficiently and we don't jam ourselves into positions. So that's what we're doing here. We're just waking up these muscles. All right, come to center. And now we're going to do little circles. So it's sort of like around, just circling it around, lifting over, pressing. But really put your focus in the pelvis. Let your pelvis do the initiating, the movement. And notice how sort of the rest of your spine just sort of follows you, especially what is that head doing, okay? Now reverse it. Circle it. All right, we're just focusing on the bones of the pelvis moving. Okay, good. Now just come to center. We're going to pull our heels a little bit closer to us. Our legs are still that shoulder distant apart, hip bone distant apart. It's all the same. Okay. Now we're going to really move with the pelvis and the ribs. We're going to think about all the bony parts of our body. So I want you to roll that pelvis towards you. Your pubic bone is lifted. Keep lifting the pubic bone as you now pull your hip bones up towards your ribs. Okay, so now we have this tuck going on. And then we're going to continue to do that, and then we're going to pull up towards the ribs. So now our ribs are sort of tucking under. You feel that? Your ribs tuck under, and they lift up to the chest. All right, continue that movement. They keep lifting, lifting, lifting to create your lift here. All right, now as we're up here, I want you to feel your ribs sort of pull now towards your hips. Feel that engagement, okay? So they're like lifting forward and down to your hips. All right, now we're going to start to lower. As we lower, again, the ribs are now going to pull sort of into your spine, all right? And they're going to continue to lift up to your chest. What does that do? It should help you articulate. All right, now we've gone through the ribs. What are the hips doing? The hips are pulling up to those ribs. Pull, pubic bone up. And then we rest into that neutral. Okay, so I want you to try that again. We pull the hip bones towards the ribs. The pubic bone lifts. All right, keep that pull, keep that lifting. And then the ribs have to get involved, so they tuck under and up to help us articulate and lift up. All right, and then we're here so that we don't arch through our back. We want to lift the ribs up, yes, but we also want to pull the ribs towards our hip bones. That creates that length. Now let's go down, soften that chest. So chest gets heavy, ribs pull back and under. Keep the tuck of the pelvis so that pubic bone is up. The ribs are pulling to the ribs. And then just allow the pelvis to tilt back down. The pubic bone gets heavy to the floor. Okay? So I want you to do 3 more of those at your own pace. Just focus on those bony masses. I like to inhale, stay at each position, and then exhale to move. So if you didn't go through pursed lips, you would have lost your air by now. That's why we go through pursed lips, so that it stays with us, it's consistent and long. Stay here as you inhale. Ribs are up and to the knees, to the hips. I got one more. Pubic bone up, pelvis towards you. Really just the bony masses. Chest heavy, then the ribs under and up. Then we go through the pelvis. Really nice job. Good. All right, so let's keep our feet here. Now we got to work that upper spine. So take your hands behind your head, elbows lifted so you can see them in your peripheral. They're sort of right there. They're not way out to the side. I want you to take an inhale here and really focus on pressing your upper back into the mat. And then exhale, release that. Do you see what your upper back does when you fill it with air? Do it again. Feel that stretch. Feel that opening. Now you're going to take that inhale to prepare. Fill your back. And now we're going to float our chest up by pushing into that upper back and deflating that air out. So it sort of just floats up. Good, and take it back down. Inhale here again. Fill your upper back. Press your upper back into the mat. And then exhale it up. So our chest is going forward as we push into that upper back. Good, one more time. Inhale. Exhale. Now I want you to stay up here. All right, we're going to take an inhale and stretch our arms forward. Grab your thighs. Now on your exhale, we're going to come up higher, but I want you to focus on the bones again. Your ribs press under and they lift up towards your chest. So we're rolling them under as they lift towards your chest, and see if that helps you lift a little higher. Now try to stay that little higher as you let go of the arms and then roll it back down. Good, hands behind the head. Take an inhale, fill your upper back with air. Press into that upper back. Exhale. Inhale, reach those arms, grab your thighs. Now exhale, roll those ribs under. Let it float you up. Notice the pelvis, did it tuck? Try not to let it tuck. And then reach those arms forward. Can you feel those abs? Oh yeah, and lower it down. You got one more. Inhale here, fill the upper back. Exhale. Reach for those legs. Now fold those ribs under. Lift them towards your chest to pick yourself up higher. Let go and roll it on down. Good. Take those arms down by your sides. Bring one leg up to tabletop. 90-degree angle at the hip and the knee. And then take that other leg up and really try to stay heavy with those bones into the mat. Okay, so we're going to grab hold of our knees, right under our knees. And you're going to use your fingers in your knees to help you here. So you're going to pull, you're going to take an inhale, fill your upper back. Exhale, flex the chest up. Now keep flexing and push your knees and fingers into each other to help roll and articulate yourself up. Let's roll it back. So just roll it back, let those feet float up. Use the hands on your thighs to help you. So they're pulling into that crevice right in the knee. Inhale here, fill your back. Exhale, push into that upper back, and then use your fingers and thighs to help roll yourself up. So hopefully you feel your belly when you do that. All right, roll back, let those feet float. Fingers on the thighs to help support you. Inhale. Exhale. One more time. Roll it back. And lower. Good. So keeping your legs at a 90, we're going to take our hands out to the sides and we're going to squeeze our thighs together. Okay? So now we're going to let our pelvis tilt. Take our pelvis over to the right and then bring it back to center. So just focusing on the pelvis, rotating, everything else stays grounded. And then use your heavy rib to pull you down. My left hip is lifting, and then I pull my left rib down, my left hip down, other side. Inhale. So you're in complete control. Good, now come to center, and we're going to take those knees, bring them apart. We just ran out of time, but I got to continue, just something here. Okay, so we're here, and then all I want you to do is grab hold of those thighs, and I want you to circle the hips right into your hip and ball socket. All right, so think about the hips staying heavy as we just sort of circle the thigh bone in those hips. All right, and then we circle the other way. They might click a little bit. They might feel tight and restricted. But just really anchoring the pelvis and allowing the thigh to turn in that joint. Good. And then we'll just hug those thighs in towards our armpits a little bit here. Good. And then release it down. Now we tilted or we rotated the bottom half of our body. We just got to even ourselves out and just rotate the upper back. So whatever we do with the lower back, we want to do with the upper back too, okay? So come to a long spine, knee on knee, okay? And the knees are right in front of the hips. Stretch your other arm towards me, okay? And then what I want you to do is with the ribs pull you over. Don't do it with the arm. And then come to center and bring it center. So I want you to focus on the bones, right? So your top rib, fill it with air as you allow it to move as you inhale, open. And then on your exhale, that rib just sort of pulls you right back into center. Okay, one more time. Good. All right, so let's go to the other side. I'm going to flip so you can see. All right, so reaching. Everything's just 90 degrees long. All right, so we inhale. The rib pulls you, and you might feel a difference on this side. I don't have room, sorry, but you're reaching that arm. And then exhale, pull the ribs to center. And all I want you to do is focus on the ribs, fill them with air, press the ribs out, and pull it over. Exhale to center. One more time. And release it down. Good job. Good, so let's just center ourselves here again. I always like to just recenter after all of that work, so hopefully you feel really good. Just sort of stay right here and just grounding the sitting bones, lifting up tall. Noticing, do you feel a little bit more square? We're trying to bring really awareness to the torso, really keeping the ribs over the hips, shoulders over those ribs. And by working on those bony masses, it helps to align us. So hopefully you just feel a little bit more life force in that spine. Those muscles have woken up, and so hopefully you feel that right now and you feel good. So notice it's very detailed movement, right? And it's just bringing awareness to your body, so you can come back to this anytime that you want, anytime you want to wake up that spine. This is a great routine to do every single day. So good job today. Remember to be intentional all day, be intentional with your movement, and just noticing sort of what's going on in your spine today, and just bringing awareness to it, okay? So thank you so much, and I will see you again tomorrow.